Everybody, welcome back to our Facebook Live sessions. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Priscilla Sarnau. I do the marketing and communications for Venture. And as you know, this week we are introducing all of our 2020 winners. And today we have our industry vertical ICT. With us today, we have Kaios ID, we have BLP Digital, and So Real digital twins, and we are going to hear from them. They're going to introduce themselves, and you will have the opportunity to ask your questions at the end of their introduction. So without further ado, let's get started. May I ask Tim from BLP Digital to please present himself?
Sure. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. My name is Tim Beck. I'm a founder at BLP Digital. And we use machine learning to extract information from documents. In companies and also in private use, there still is a lot of copy pasting from relevant information from documents, such as invoices, delivery note, purchase orders, or any other document that you copy paste into a computer system where you need it, for example, to pay the invoice. In industrial use, that is especially for these two documents that I just described, delivery notes and invoices, there's a combination of them. So first you purchase something, then you get a delivery note, which you have to compare to the purchase order you did, and then you get an invoice that you have to compare against this delivery and against the purchase order you did, and it is super tedious. We focus on manufacturing companies, and actually they need 11 minutes on average to just process one delivery note, and they need roughly 6 minutes to process an invoice. So it's really super tedious, and they manually do that, although it's not necessary. And with our neural networks that we developed and with our software solution that's based on them, we solve this problem and automate this towards 90%. Where the operator just has to control and collaborate with this artificial intelligence, and thus is sped up a lot. And I'm happy to answer all questions involved, and be aware that we're still hiring.
Thanks. Great, thank you so much, Tim. So you mentioned that you're doing processing of invoices and things like that. How long would it take for a company to integrate, to learn your solution and integrate it into their company?
So our solution has learned for each document type that we do over very many documents of the same time in the past. So it can generically apply that knowledge to new documents, so you don't have to specifically train on your documents. That's first. Second, integration is usually done with the ERP system, and we have some ERP system integrations already in place, such as SAP or ProAlpha. And then it's rather quick. If that is not the case, we do a pilot phase where you can just give us your data from the past, and we put it in our system. That takes less than a day for you to test it. And if that works out, we talk about integration, which is depending on your system between a week and 4 weeks.
Okay, so it's not too bad of a learning curve.
It's not a hustle, and what you mentioned is this learning on your own documents. That's done continuously. So the system already can start without any prior knowledge, and then through you processing documents, it further learns and learns. It's kind of a plug-and-play solution, if you will. You don't have to do any effort from the beginning, but you can just use it.
Okay, great. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'd like to encourage you to ask your questions. We're here to interact, so if you have any questions for Tim, please feel free to type them in the comments. I also had another question for you. It seems like this is a type of technology that should already exist. Are there a lot of competitors in your space?
There are. The technology itself, like not the technology, but the problem exists since more than 30 years, and people have tried to solve it since more than 30 years. However, they try to solve it through rule-based system or template systems. and they just don't work. First of all, you have this effort in the beginning that you have to type in all the new rules, you have to administer the new templates, and then you come to a point of like 80% of recognition where it just can't get further because you get new suppliers in, you get new documents in, and you don't have this transfer knowledge that we have with machine learning. Now, in the machine learning field, there is some players that try it, but it's very new. Like the whole development itself in that area is new, and our solution comes straight out of state-of-the-art research at ETH. We're an ETH spin-off. We applied it to an industry-ready product, so this is really on the edge, I would say, and thus there's not so many competitors that are directly doing what we do.
Okay, and just one more question on my end. What makes you unique? Because you are relatively new in the space as well.
Yeah, so we focus very, very much on manufacturing companies. Our system is trained on hundreds of thousands of documents in that field. We know there are problems such as batch number recognition for delivery nodes, serial number recognition. It's very fine-tuned to solve their problems. And by focusing more on that, our recognition in that field is much higher. And we more like try to solve the problem of them rather than putting a generic solution out there that just then ends up with having 80% solved and the 20% of manual work still.
Okay, wait, I lied. This was not my last question. I still have a couple more, if that's okay. Do you know on average how much time you save a company? Because you really focus on tailoring the solution and getting over that 80% hump where the market really is right now. So on average, how much time would you save?
On average, it takes a bit more than 15 minutes to process these two documents, delivery notes and invoice. And we come down to less than 2 minutes for both documents of only comparing and checking what the system did. So roughly a quarter an hour that we save almost. But that's on average. Like there's some documents that you need way less, and there's some documents like a 20-page delivery note where people nowadays need more than an hour to manually copy paste it into their system, and there we save much more.
Great. Okay, and now this is my last question. Do you have any market traction already?
Yes, so we did 2 white labels for ERP vendors, and now we started integration work with some bigger direct customers. And in total, we have 54 signed clients now, and try to onboard all of them by the end of the year. We were lucky because like the ERP players, they scale themselves, right? Like we gave them a solution and they sell it to their existing client base. That was a happy thing for us in the beginning. We're very fortunate.
Very, very good. We have one question from the audience, and that's, as you have a tailored solution, how scalable is this, and how much of your business is integration?
It's a good question. So once we have integrated into one of those systems, like SAP or ProAlpha or whatever, the integration work is very, very little. And as we are very tailored for a specific industry, those players usually use the same kind of software to administrate themselves. So integration work comes to an end where it's really just taking what you've already done and putting it to another client, which is rather simple. So for example, one ERP player that we work with has more than 30 clients that use the same software. And there it was one integration, and for the rest of them, it was just plug and play, because it's really the same database structure, the same software infrastructure they use. So the first we needed integration work, the rest just worked. I hope that answers the question. If not,
yes, I think so.
I have a question.
Yep.
Ian, go ahead.
Hey, so you mentioned processing a document. So you get example, delivery note, invoice. Okay, can you define for us what has happened once it's processed? So I'm your customer and it's been processed. What do I know now?
So what you want from an invoice, for example, is, hey, what's my invoice number? What's my invoice date? What items are on there? You compare, have I really ordered them? Have they really been delivered? And what's the price? Is there some discounts? Is there some dates I should consider for paying to not loosen discount rates? And that information you get back in your system. Until now, you copy paste it manually from the document and put it into your ERP system, your administration system. And with our software, you just have to check if the software did it correct or automate it based on the information that you already have from your purchase order or from your delivery.
Got it, thanks.
Sure.
Good. Well, thank you very, very much, Tim, for shedding some light on BLP Digital and what you're doing there. I would like to now invite Yuan from Kaios ID to introduce himself and what he's doing with his startup.
So thank you. Thank you, Priscilla. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm Yuan. I'm the founder of Kaios ID. Kaios ID started as a project 4 years ago, and the company was incorporated last year. We are based in Lausanne. What we do is we help brand fight counterfeiting, gray market, but also engage with the consumer. So we protect their reputation and we help them establish a close relationship to generate consumer engagement. And how do we do that? We have a smart software identification platform, and we integrate traceability feature directly in the design of the packaging of the product. And so how would it work in real life is if you have a doubt about the authenticity of a product, you can directly know if it's real or fake by scanning it with a smartphone, and you directly access data about the product. So this is one part, the scanning for the consumer or the controllers of the brand, but we also provide the brands a web platform where they can manage and access all kind of information about what's going on with the scan on the field with the product. So they have a lot of data that they can use to prevent counterfeiting in gray market. The difference with existing solution is that our traceability feature covers the full packaging, which means it's impossible to neutralize compared to QR code or serial numbers that are placed at a small part of the packaging and are very easy to scratch, paint over, or remove, and therefore the product is not traceable anymore. And since we are integrated in the packaging and printed at the same time of the packaging, there is no additional cost, and it's very easy to implement in the existing processes. So if I wanted you to remember something about Kaios ID is that we not only sell security, but the most important thing that we sell or we provide is trust to the brand.
Great, thank you so much, Yuan. So you mentioned that this is you're really trying to provide a solution for the gray market, which is more about counterfeiting products yeah, no, you can't really counterfeit a service. But is this mostly a problem that you are focusing on or that exists in the luxury industry, or you can see this all over?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So just to give a little precision for people listening. So gray market is basically when there is the product is real, but sold through an unauthorized channel or on an unauthorized market. So let's say a distributor in Switzerland buys product in Asia that is supposed to be sold in Asian market, so with an Asian price, and he's going to sell it on the Swiss market. So it's dumps the price, and it's a huge problem for brands. And this mostly appears for, I would say, premium brands, not only luxury, but can be cosmetics, cigarettes, cigars, all the products that have tax, alcohol, liquor, but also to product like spare parts for automotive spare parts and that kind of product.
Okay, thank you. I have a
Can
couple
I
of
follow
questions.
up, maybe?
Oh,
Okay. I have
sorry, go
a
ahead,
follow-up
Tim.
question to that. So for me as a consumer, right? If somebody sells it cheaper, maybe I misunderstood that point, but is that not something I would even want? Like, why would I check that as a consumer if it's the original high price, if it's the same product?
Yeah, the gray market, when we fight gray market, is not a tool for the end consumer. It's mostly for the brand. But as a consumer, you should worry about if you are buying through an authorized retailer or reseller, because for warranty reasons, if you have a problem, if you buy an iPhone through an unauthorized reseller and you have a problem with this product, who is going to ensure the warranty on that, and how long are you going to fight to be refunded or to have your product replaced? And most of the platform or most of the shops that sell gray market products, they also sell counterfeit. So it's all mixed together and you're never sure if you're buying the real deal or a fake product.
Makes sense. Thanks.
So Johan, I have a couple of questions from the audience, and that's the first one is, how could I, as an end consumer, check whether my product is actually real?
Yeah. So what we are working on with our prospect now and our future client is to integrate the Kaios ID scanning feature directly in their branded app. So let's say, well, you want to buy a perfume from a renowned group or renowned brand. Through their app, you will be able to scan the product to know if they are real or fake. And we are also looking to do partnership with famous consumer app. You know, this app where you scan and you have information about the product, like the sugar, the fat index. So to integrate Kaios ID in that kind of application.
Okay, good. One more question is, does your solution only work with digital printing, or it can also work with offset printing?
As per today, and for the solution we advertise publicly, it works only with digital printing if you want to have a high granularity traceability, which means if you want to know each single item, which one it is from the date of production, and that's it. Yes, with this solution, you need digital printing, but some company they will like to have like to be able to identify a batch, for instance, and therefore we can propose other printing solutions.
Okay, good. And final question on my end, do you have any pilot projects that you're running?
No, we don't have pilot project running, and but we are now in close negotiation with 3 different companies, and well, we are discussing about the price. So we are very confident that we will close our first contracts soon.
Great. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that, and
Yeah,
I hope
thanks,
that works out very soon for you. Thank you very much, Johan, for your introduction and for introducing us to Kaios ID. And now I would like to invite Ian from So Real Digital Twins to introduce his startup.
Thanks, Priscilla. Yeah, my name's Ian. I'm one of the co-founders of So Real, where we've been in operation since February and pilot production since April. We're located just at the foot of the Gorton in Bern. And actually, it's best if I just show you what we're doing. So here we go. If you'll follow me, we're going to get inside Tony Stark's head.
And for those of you who don't know Tony Stark, that is Iron Man.
That's Iron Man. Okay, demo effect here. Okay, he's here. Good. All right, so this, what you're looking at, is a digital twin of the prop from Iron Man 2. So one of our people works in LA and worked on Iron Man. All right, and because of the way we do it, we can get inside his head. So let's go. So now you see how they get the glowing eyes in Iron Man. Okay, and what we're doing is we're automating the process of the production of 3D objects. And when you can do that, you can, if you can make them faster and make them cheaper, then you can make more immersive experiences. And you know, among other things, like games and AR apps and e-commerce and things like that. And our favorite is immersive experiences. And why is that? That's because immersive experiences are proven they build empathy. And empathy leads to understanding. And understanding leads to making the world smaller. And that's the kind of world I want to live in. And that's the world I want my kids to live in. Okay, how we do it. Okay, sorry for the 1 second. Okay, we're going to launch another app here. Okay, so how we do it is we take an object and we scan it with CT. So it's X-ray. And that means we can look inside it. And then after that, we're automating all the whole workflow, one step after another, and then it spits out a file that can be run on a game engine. And because it's X-ray, we can go inside things, we can see the lenses. So instead of it just being a geometry and a texture, it's a real digital twin. We have all kinds of parameters, inside, outside, center of gravity, materials, bounciness. There's all these physical parameters that are useful for various applications. Yeah, so when we're successful, then you'll see products, you'll see twins made by us in films and games and e-commerce and whatnot. So that's it, I'll stop sharing. Hold on, there. Okay, am I back?
You're back. You're back. Thank you very much for that very cool demonstration. So,
yeah, pictures worth 1,000 words and a demo worth 1,000 pictures, right?
Absolutely, I agree. So you are producing these digital twins of different objects. So you're, in essence, selling these 3D objects to different industries. Can I ask, who is your primary market at this point?
Primary market is a kind of a surprise. We thought it would be games. Okay, well, the first client that is going to use a Lighthouse object is a AAA game producer. So it's all NDA stuff. But where the water is really flowing is in fashion, and namely shoes. Shoes.
Wait, hold on, let me show you my surprise face. In shoes.
It's shoes. It's where we are scanning shoes day in and day out now.
And now, are these like athletic shoes, or are we talking luxury item shoes?
It's mostly running shoes.
Okay.
So sneakers, running shoes. There's a Swiss brand that's
yes.
Yeah, but also fashion, and there's an interesting connection to both the other startups, in that one is machine learning plays a big role in the automation process, and the other one is the scanning. But for the luxury brands, so really high-end bags and shoes, they want to know more about that in the object than just the geometry and the color. So they want more information so they can detect counterfeits too. So with X-ray, you could get, the scan has everything inside and out in incredible detail, right down to the fiber. So you can zoom in and check out the fibers, and well, we couldn't do it, but they'd say, oh, that's not ours. That's a fake.
Okay, that's really
shoes.
interesting. So right now you're
Who
in
knew?
the process of kind of not pivoting, but really shifting your focus on how to service a different market.
Yeah, exactly. We knew that from the beginning, that we'd have to really stay close on the wheel and make left turns and right turns based on where things are flowing. And surprise, fashion and shoes, they are really, they have absorbed the benefits of going all digital in the whole supply chain. And they're really, they're giving gas.
And
yeah. Bad translation.
How, I have a question from the audience. How do you add color to your images?
Yeah, so that's a techie there. So X-ray does not give you color. So at the same time that the CT scan is happening, there's also a camera capturing the outside, right? And then we store that, and then that's married to the object downstream before we spit out the format zoo of all the different twin formats.
And how long does it take you to conduct a scan?
Scans can take anywhere from just 10 minutes, and something huge like a car takes 10 to 20 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But for example, your shoes, on average, it takes you how long to scan these items?
Oh, well, you stack them up and scan like 10 at once. So per shoe, probably, just 5-10 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I have another question from the audience. It's if I wanted to have a 3D model for my shoe, how much would I have to invest?
100 to 200.
Francs?
Francs, please. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how do you put a car in a CT scanner?
Okay, it's a very special one. It's a huge one. So you drive it onto a turntable, right? And it's a massive turntable. And it uses a linear accelerator as the beam source. Yeah, so we can't bring the scanner to the car. The car has to go to the scanner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then do you do your scans on site, on location? So for example, you could go to a headquarters of a company and produce your digital twins there, or do you have to do it on site, on your location?
Yeah, and in this phase, so seed phase, build up phase, it has to go to one of 2 facilities. And there's a fleet of scanners there. Next phase, so scale up phase, then there'll be the fleet of scanners expands, we'll have our own. And then we copy paste that in the USA and then in China. Okay. So to cut down the logistics distance. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I think I don't have any more questions from the audience, and oh, I do have one question for myself. Just curious, how did you come up with this idea?
Oh, I'm excited. The short version. Okay.
The short version.
All right. There was a VR experience. I wrote a story, and I wanted to make a VR experience about it, and was in discussion with the studio to do it. And they were showing me everything in the pipeline, or showing us. And in one of the experiences, there was this medieval warrior who threw an axe at me, right? So in VR, so of course I was safe, right? And to date, it was the best object I had ever seen in VR. It was perfect, and the physics was perfect. It flew the right way. Before that, everything I had seen in VR was kind of cartoony, the physics was horrible, and then you just don't believe it. And this was perfect. So I asked them how they did it, and I said, we had to do this, that, the other thing. And it took 2 people 3 weeks to do it. And I went, oh my God, if that's the case everywhere, that's a bottleneck. How can you produce anything quickly? And then on the way home, that connected with a past life where I worked in the industrial X-ray business. And went, holy cow, if you get a CT scan of it, you've got everything: geometry, inside, outside, texture, geometries with incredible precision, and you get all these physical parameters for free. Why not try it? So that was the eureka moment shortly after the axe and warrior thing.
Okay, very nice story. Thank you very much for sharing. So I have one final question for all of our winners today, and that is, what would it mean for you to win the Venture Prize, the grand prize? Because today you're all winners. We just have to find out which ranking you are within your vertical on June 22nd at the awards ceremony. So whether you come in first, second, or third. And so we also have the grand prize, which is worth 150,000 francs. And so what would that mean if you could win that? I would like to ask Tim first.
So the venture competition is very industry oriented, and so are the judges, and so is the whole process. And for us to win it would mean that we have the confirmation of such a nice and well-known audience and jury, and that would mean a lot, because this confirmation that we have from our first clients that we actually changed something, if we could back that up from somebody with your profile, that would be amazing. And as we're self-funded to this date, obviously the money would help a lot. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, Tim. Johan, may I ask you the same?
Well, I don't want to copy paste Tim answer, but obviously the one of the major benefit is for the image and the visibility, and also the recognition of I mean a serious organization, and of course you have the money. We never say no to some more fundings, and to help us that will help us grow quicker, of course. Yeah.
I have a question for you. In addition to that, Johan, you were a finalist last year in 2019 for Venture, and this year you came back in 2020 and as a winner. So what made you reapply, and what changes did you make to actually make it into the winner circle?
Okay, yeah, but first we reapplied because as a finalist last year, I thought, oh, maybe I was close, and well, I want to be in the three, and since we made a lot of progress since last year with new leads, a better strategy. We built the core team of Caius ID during the year. So I thought, yeah, maybe this year I can be in the last three. So yeah, I reapplied.
Great, we're glad you did. Thank you very much, Johan. And then question for Ian: How would winning the Venture Prize? What would it mean to you?
Well, Tim's answer and Johan's answer, I was going to say almost the exact same thing. But there's something else additional happened just last night. So somebody from one of these little Korean companies that everyone knows reached out and said they want to have a chat about technology collaboration. And I asked, okay, how did you find out about us? And they said, oh, Venture. So if that continues, I mean, that's just one data point in the last week. If that grows, that makes it more than worthwhile.
Great, I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah, big surprise, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you very, very much, all three of you, for being here with us today and for taking part in the Venture competition. We are very excited to see what you continue doing. And for those of you tuning in, you are officially invited to our awards ceremony on June 22nd, that's next Monday, at 6:30 in the evening. And we will have a federal counselor, Uli Maurer, who will be our keynote speaker, and he will talk about the importance of entrepreneurship and innovation, clearly two qualities that everyone here has today, and their importance in the Swiss economy. And yes, we'll be streaming the award ceremony live on Facebook. So all you have to do is come back on Facebook and see how everyone ranks and who the grand prize winner will be. June 22nd. Don't forget. Thank you guys so very much, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks for
Thanks, Priscilla.
Thanks
for
Priscilla.
having us.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.